In this tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to add code highlighting to your Next.js project. We will use Prismjs library and handle syntax highlighting on the server side, so the client will receive the highlighted code without any flickering and hydration issues. So, without any further ado, let's get started. So we are in VS Code. Here is the starter code with some boilerplate prepared. I will include a repo in the description, but you can use your own project if you want. In real projects, you will probably receive a code snippet as a string from an API, such as Notion, as a CMS for Next.js block. But for now, I will use a code from layout.js file and store it in a variable here. And let's pass it down here into our code element. Feel free to choose your favorite piece of code to use it throughout the tutorial. The next step is to install the Prism library here. Let's type npm I Prismjs and then import it here at the top of our component. Prism comes with 8 available themes here. If you go to the test drive page, you can see how each theme looks like. For my taste, I would like to choose this theme, and to import it, we need to import the appropriate CSS file for this theme. We need to type import Prismjs themes Prism and the name of our theme. As a code snippet, we chose JSX layout code. However, Prism comes with a very few languages imported by default. To add support for JSX, we need to manually import it. So let's type import Prismjs /components/prism.jsx. Now it's time to write highlight function that will use Prism to perform syntax highlighting. It will receive a code as a string and a language to use to perform the highlighting. And let's set a default language to markup. For highlighting, we will use Prism highlight function. And as you see, it receives a text, which is our code as a string, and the other two variables here. Let's scroll down here to see how the example looks like. In our example, the first argument will be code, the second prism.languages, and in the square brackets we need to pass the language. And as a third argument, we pass our language. Then we can perform the highlighting inside our JSX. But let's define the language first, which is JSX, and then the highlighted code, which is the result of the highlight function execution. And if we save our code and go to our page, we see an error module not found, because it's actually a CSS file. And here I just misspelled it. It is components. Let's refresh and let's pass the highlighted code here. As you see, it's just a string of all those span elements here. Because we've returned an HTML string here, not an HTML element or HTML elements collection here. In order to pass it properly, we need to use dangerously set inner HTML method. And now it looks much better. And if we observe our code element here, we see that all the span elements are rendered properly, and each piece of string is highlighted using all those CSS classes here. But there's one more thing. We've used dangerously set inner HTML method here, which is known as an unsecure method. Let's add an extra security level here. We will use a DOM purifier library to sanitize our HTML string here, to preventively remove any cross-site scripting attacks. But if we go to the DOM purifier documentation, you see it's a DOM-only library. But we're working on the server side because it's a React server component. That's why I've already opened an isomorphic DOM purifier library to use it both on server and client in the same way. Let's install this library. And let's import it in our code. Import DOM purify, isomorphic DOM purify. And here we need to call DOM purify sanitize and pass our HTML string code. And if we refresh our page, nothing has changed. But in cases you have lost the access to your API, it just adds an extra layer of security in cases if you use an API to get a string of code. That's all. If you found this tutorial helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This will help me to stay motivated in the long run. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.